York City Mayor Eric Adams kicked off a 4-day tour of Latin America in Mexico today.
He is there to try to discourage asylum seekers from coming to New York. Adams says he's giving a full scope of the situation facing migrants and letting them know the realities that asylum seekers will face in New York. According to the mayor, more than 100,000 migrants have arrived here, costing the city some $12 billion.
CBS News contributor Enrique Acevedo has been following the mayor's visit and joins us live from Mexico. Enrique, how do you believe the message from Mayor Adams is being received there?
Dana, Maurice, happy to join you. Well, we'll see. The reality is that Mexico has become not just a country where migrants are coming from to the U.S., but also a transit country, mainly now a transit country. So some of the places that Mayor Adams is visiting in Mexico City are not necessarily communities that are expelling migrants, but he's just meeting with people that are in charge of designing policy to deal with this migrant influx. Mexico is just part of a large chain of countries that are having to step up and try to come up with solutions.
Enrique, I'm wondering, among the people you've spoken to, the media you're hearing, and social media, et cetera, is it going to make a difference for people seeking asylum in the United States? Are going to try something different for going forward?
Well, we'll see if they succeed where others have failed. The State Department has been trying to warn migrants and dissuade them from making this journey for decades now. Both the Trump administration and the Biden administration have been certainly trying that as well. But the mayor seems to think that he can make a difference by coming here, by going to Colombia, Panama, talking to migrants in Ecuador and just trying to dissuade them. The reality is that migration, as you know, Maurice, Dana, is very complex. People are fleeing not just poverty or bad governance, but also new factors like a post-pandemic reality in the region or climate change. So it's certainly gotten more complex and more difficult with tools like disinformation and digital communications now playing a role.
So they see the mayor. I guess a lot of people know who he is, but I would also think a lot of people do not know who he is. In Mexico, what do they know, people there, about the reality of what's happening here, the stories we've done on the families who've come here and the struggles to find them housing, jobs, everything? Is that well known?
I think people recognize the part of New York City in the mayor's title, not necessarily his name or himself. I think people understand what's happening in New York because they've been seeing the same in Mexican cities all across the Mexican territory, from the southern border to Mexico City to the border with the U.S. People in Mexico are seeing migrants from Venezuela, Nicaragua, Cuba, Haiti, and other countries try to make it to the border and are experiencing some of the same difficulties that New York is experiencing right now with these over 100,000 migrants arriving there. I think there's a sense of empathy, but there's also some sort of a frustration that authorities in all of our countries have not been able to provide a solution, and that we are where we are right now.
Okay, thank you very much for the insight there. Enrique Acevedo, CBS News contributor in Mexico tonight. Good example of just how difficult this issue is.
We are following the mayor's visit to the various countries in Latin America.